Namaste. So tonight I'm going to read Book 5, Chapter 19, on the prayer and hymns to the Devi in the Maha Devi Bhagavatam Puran. Om Vakratuna Mahakaya Surya Kotisa. Hari Om Tat Sat. Vyasa said, O king, then Indra and all the devas became very glad to see the great Mahishasura slain. They all began to praise and chant hymns to the world mother. The devas said, it is by the power that Brahma becomes able to create this world, Vishnu to preserve, and Maheshvara to destroy during the Pralaya time, the great dissolution of this universe. But when they are bereft of thy power, they are quite unable to do such. Therefore, O Devi, thou art undoubtedly the prime cause in the preservation and destruction of this whole universe. O Devi, thou art in this world fame, idea, and ideal, memory. Thou art the goal, mercy, compassion, faith, consistency, earth. Thou art Kamala, the mantra, Ajapa, respiration and perspiration, nourishment, Jaya, Vijaya, the destroyer of obstacles, a name of Durga. Thou art contentment, correct notion, measure, intellect, Rama, Lakshmi, wealth, knowledge, forgiveness, beauty, intelligence. Thou art the Shakti, power of Rudra. Thou art Girija and the energy of God Uma and all other forces in this universe. This is known to everyone in the three worlds. Without any or all of these forces, no one is able to perform any action. Thou art the supreme cause of all this world. Therefore, everything rests on thee. If thou were not the upholding power, how could Kurma, in the tortoise incarnation, and Ananta have upheld this world? O Mother, wert thou not this earth, could all these world load of things have rested on the sky? O Mother, those human beings that worship Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, moon, fire, Yama, the god of death, Vayu, Ganesha, and the other devas, they are certainly deluded by thy Maya. Could all those devas do any action or any favor without thy energy? O Mother, those that offer in any sacrifice a profuse quantity of ghee, clarified butter, as oblations to the several devas, they are certainly conceived to be of very narrow views. Wert thou not the Svaha, could it have been possible for those devas to get the offered oblations at that very instant? Certainly, therefore, they are fools and ignorant persons. There is no doubt in this. O Mother, thou givest the several objects of nourishment and enjoyment to all the beings in this universe. By thy parts, the several transformations of these material things, it is thou that nourishest the devas, thy devotees, as well as the others, the Danavas according to their karma. O Mother, as the owner of any garden plants with pleasure the beautiful trees in his garden for his delight, and finding some of them not to bear any fruits or leaves or of a bitter taste, does not cut them off by their roots. So, O Devi, thou hast brought into existence these dechas out of their inferior karmas, and thou art supporting them, knowing that the dechas like to enjoy the celestial nymphs. Thou hast, out of compassion, killed them by their arrows in the battlefield, to afford them facilities in their rebirth in heavens, and thus to enjoy the Deva woman, which they could not have got in any other possible way. Therefore, thy dealings with them are to fulfill their intentions and not to kill them. O Mother, it is the great wonder that to kill these asuras thou hadst to assume this divine body. Thou couldst have done so by thy mere will. It seems that this act of thine is but a mere pastime. There is no other cause for this, O Devi. Those human beings that do not worship thee in this dreadful age of Kali, they are certainly deceived by the cunning Purana makers who have deluded them to worship Hari and Hara, who are thy creations. Oh, what an amount of evil has befallen to those poor souls. O Devi, those men know that the Devas, tormented by the Asuras, are thy devotees, and yet they worship them. Certainly, such fellows, holding the lighted torches in their hands, plunge deep into the darkest waterless wells. O Mother, thou art the Vidya, blissful intelligence, and thou grantest pleasure and liberation. Thou art the avidya, great delusion. And thus thou causest bondage and pain in this world. O Mother, thou only destroyest the affection of the human beings. Those that want liberation worship thee, and those that are ignorant and attached to worldly enjoyments do not worship thee. What more can be said than this, that Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesa, and the other devas instantly worship thy adorable lotus feet. But those men that are of dull intellect and are mistaken, they do not meditate thy feet, and therefore they come again and again into this ocean of world. O Chandika, it is through the grace of the dust of thy lotus feet that Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesvara are creating, preserving, and destroying this universe. Therefore, O Goddess, those men that do not serve thee are certainly very unfortunate. O Mother of the universe, thou art the goddess of speech, of the Suras and the Asuras. Thus, if thou didst not dwell in their mouths, they would not have been able to utter a single word. Therefore, O Goddess, how can men speak when they are thus deprived of thee? O Mother, it is due to the curse of Bhrigu Muni that Hari takes several incarnations as fish, tortoise, boar, man, lion, and deceitful dwarf incarnations. All these show clearly the dependence of Hari. Note, the Devas and the Dechas are the opposite polarities of the same creation. How then can they avoid the fear of death when they serve these dependent incarnations? O Mother, it is well known that the male generative organ of Shambhu, the Mahadeva, fell onto the ground, owing to the curse of Bhrigu Muni. When he went to the hermitage of the rishis, how can then happiness come in this world or in the next to those who worship such a Shambhu who wears human skulls on his body? O Devi, those that worship Ganesha, born of the above qualified Mahadeva, are awfully mistaken. They are especially quite ignorant of thee, the goddess of the universe, that can be easily worshipped and that can give the fourfold aims of human existence. O Devi, it is out of thy kindness that thou hast slain with thy arrows the enemies, and thus hast translated them into heavens. Otherwise, they would have certainly gone down to hell owing to their own karmic effects. Brahma, Hari, Hara, and the other devas cannot realize thy greatness. How can then ordinary men know thee, when they are deluded by immeasurably strong sattva, rajas, and tamas qualities? O Mother, those who do not worship thy lotus feet as very hard to be brought within this mind, and therefore worship this visible sun and fire, they cannot grasp the essence of the Vedas, demonstrated by hundreds of passages of Shruti. They are deluded and simply suffer pains. O Mother, I think that the influences of thy sattva, rajas, and tamas qualities are widely known in this world. Those qualities, as taught in various deluding schools of tantras by various persons, stimulate people to the worship of Vishnu, Maheshwara, Sun, and Ganesha, and thus detract them from worshipping thee. O Mother, those that detract thus the Brahmanas from worshipping thy lotus feet, and advise them through the agamas to worship Harihara and others, thou dost not get angry with them, rather thou dost show thy kindness to them and make them widely celebrated as possessing the occult powers of enchanting, bringing others under their control, or attracting towards them various other persons. In the Satyuga, Sattvaguna was more powerful, and therefore the untrue sastras could not rear their heads. But in this Kali age, owing to the Sattvaguna being not so powerful, the lower qualities have got preponderance. So these so-called clever pundits, instead of worshipping thee, worship Hari, Hara, and the other devas, the products of their fancy, and hide thee. O Mother, thou art the Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of the Supreme Consciousness. Thou givest liberation to thy devotees when they succeed in their yogas. Therefore the pure Sattvic Muni meditate on thee and thee alone. Those that get themselves diluted in thee, they are very blessed. What more to speak of them in their praise? They will no longer have to suffer any pains in their mother's wombs. O Mother, thou art inherent of Chit Shakti, the power of consciousness, in the Supreme Spirit, and therefore he is become manifest, especially as the great cosmos, and becomes known as the creator, preserver, and destroyer of this world, fashioned out of 5 elements. O Devi, what male can by his own power work out this Jagat Prapancha, enjoy it, and move in this without the aid of thy power? O Bhagavati, this universe has been created by thee. Thou art therefore its mother. The 24 essences or tattvas are in it. How can they, without thy Chitta Shakti, create this universe? O Devi, never can these senses and organs, endowed with guna and karma, do any work or bestow any fruits without thy energy. O Mother, wert thou not Svaha, the instrumental cause in the sacrifice, how could these devas have got their shares of the ghee offered in the yajnas by the munis? Therefore, Devi, thou art no doubt preserving this universe. O Bhagavati, it is thou that hast created this world in the beginning. It is thou that art preserving the gods Harihara and others. It is thou that art destroying this universe. Therefore, O Brahman, the devas cannot know thy deeds. How can then the men who are of dull intellect know thee? O Mother, thou hast now saved the devas by killing this terrible Mahishasura. O Mother, all the Vedas have not been able to know exactly all thy movements. How can we, of dull intellect, praise thee? O Mother, thou hast served our cause by killing our enemy, the wicked Danava, the inconceivable source of pain to all the world. By this act of thine, thy fame has spread far and wide in this universe. Therefore, O thou of renowned prowess, thou art the mother of this world. Save us and maintain us by thy mercy. Vyasa said, O king, the devas having praised the Devi thus, the Devi addressed them gently. O devas, say if you have any other difficult thing for me to do, remember me whenever any difficult crisis occurs to you. I will destroy that evil." The Deva said, "O Devi, all our purposes have been served when thou hast killed lately our enemy Mahishasura. Now dost thou do for us so that we can always recollect thy lotus feet, and our bhakti be firm and steadfast towards thee. It is only the mother that bears 1,000 offenses of the son. We therefore cannot say why men, knowing this, do not worship the mother of the universe. There are two birds always dwelling in this body, Jivatma, human soul, and the Paramatman, the supreme soul. They are so very intimate friends towards each other that they never separate. But there's no other third friend that can bear the faults of these two. Therefore, the embodied soul that forsakes thee, his friend, can never attain any welfare. What more to say on this? That vicious soul is very unlucky amidst the devas and men. No doubt he who, on attaining this excellent human body, attained with much difficulty, does not remember thee frequently by words and deeds, is certainly the vilest of men. O Devi, whether in times of distress or happiness, thou art our Saviour. Therefore dost thou protect us with thy best weapons. O Devi, there is no other means for our security than the grace of the dust of thy feet." Vyasa said, "O king, the Devas having prayed to the Devi thus, the Devi vanished then and there. The Devas, seeing the disappearance of the Devi, were sufficiently struck with surprise." Here ends the 19th chapter of the 5th book on the prayer and hymns to the Devi in Srimad Devi Bhagavatam in Maha Puranam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Vedvyasa. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Padra Kali Kapari. Hari Om. Om Tuya Mata Chapita Tuya Tuya Mata